All right. Today is the first episode of Triple D Dungeon Deep Dungeon Dive. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. That's what I'm making it up. Made it up right on the spot. Not really. I was just making up stuff. But anyways, today we're gonna be checking out the drops that have been coming out, and we're gonna be looking at every spell drop. So if you don't know what the drop system is already, it's basically a paid subscription, or it's part of the paid subscription of the hero tier on D&D Beyond. And every month they've been kind of dropping up some random stuff. And this video we're going to be talking about um, the spells that have been coming out for the drop system. So right here, I'm gonna have a little diagram of like what the spells do, etc., etc. But we're gonna go through levels 1 through 7 of all the new spells. I think there's like 8 new spells. I don't know how long this video is, but at each of the spells, I'm gonna rate them of how good they could be. Some scenarios, and this is the like scenario-based thing that I have set up. So I got these are classes that can use all, or not all of them can use the spells, but these are some classes that could use the spell. And I got some little characters here just to help us visibly see what's going on here. Okay? Alright, sounds good. We're going to take this guy off the... Actually, we're going to keep him here. Druid here. So the first spell that we're going to be looking at is a new spell that is first level. It is a conjuration, and druids, rangers, sorcerers, and wizards are able to know this spell, and it's called Buzzing Bees. So here in this example, we're gonna have the wizard here cast the Buzzing Bee spell, and we're gonna have the bard go out here, just being a little silly person, and then boom, this warlock here. Warlock is going to cast Hold Person on the bard. Let's just say the bard is held person, so we're just gonna put a little symbolization here, like this one right here, and then also this. So the bard, let's just say, is held person. Wizard has Buzzy Bees or whatever. I don't know why you would want to use it like this, but I'm going to explain the spell real fast. So you can call forth a noisy spectral bees. Uh, you target a creature that you can see within range. The bees hover around the target, distracting them with loud buzzing for the duration, which the duration's up for a minute, and it's a concentration spell. This does use an action and has a range of 120 feet. For the duration, the target has disadvantage on perception checks and stealth checks, and constitution saving throws made to maintain concentration. In addition, the target cannot benefit from being invisible. The bees move with the target, hovering 3 feet of it as long as the target is within that 120 feet area of you. The bees disappear when the spell ends or if the target moves out of range. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So imagine, again, Warlock, cast, held person. For some reason, you decide not to hit them, whatever it may be, but you can go ahead and cast this at 100, and this is about 90 feet. Let's just try to get to the max range. Why not? This might be better for some other spells. So move one more square here. Boom. I think the good thing about this is that there's no attack roll, right? There's no attack roll. There's no save roll. It just kind of happens, right? So this is a good setup to other things that you could do, like you could throw like a firebolt or something and make them lose concentration. But anyways, right? So we have these bees, right? They're all over this warlock, which I'm going to put a little symbol here, a little sleeping symbol for now. So the warlock has disadvantage on concentration, which held person's a concentration. If you're wondering, the components is V, S, and M with a dab of honey, which is kind of fun. If you have a spell focus, that's not gonna matter. But basically, you put the buzzing bees on a warlock first level spell, and they're gonna have disadvantage on perception and stealth checks. And if they try going away by casting invisibility, which obviously, if they use invisibility, might be an issue because concentration, all that good stuff. So that's cool. As the wizard here, maybe you throw a bolt of fire, whatever it may be, to give them disadvantage. And I don't know, if you're playing a wizard, you probably don't have anything in con, to be honest. But let's just say, for example, I actually forgot how to bring the dice out here. Let's see if this was on disadvantage. See, they would have got a 1 and a 2. That's some good luck right there. So That's cool. If the Warlock on its turn tried to run away from the bees, they would still suffer the bees unless they went to go attack you because, again, Buzzing Bee is a concentration spell, but you're 120 feet away. I mean, that's pretty good. You could have other teammates attack the Warlock here to make them lose concentration. It's a good thing there. Being able, even if they lose the concentration, not being able to turn invisible could be beneficial. I think I said this was a wizard on accident. I didn't mean to say that, but that's what Buzzy Bees would do. Again, have an area effect, or not area effect, but that one person would have disadvantage on perception checks, stealth checks, and be able to maintain concentration, would have disadvantage, and then not benefiting from the invisible condition. I feel like this spell, for a level 1 spell, does a lot. I mean, it's not a damage spell or anything. And again, if you are this far away, the Warlock could just move 10 feet away and then disappear. So you don't want to be too far from the fight. I guess you probably want to be in the middle range, so you like 60 feet area of a creature when you cast this spell. But I mean, having those like 4 benefits, again, not being able to turn invisible, disadvantage on the perception and stealth checks, I think it's a pretty good spell. Like if someone had the spell at the table, I wouldn't be mad at them. I think it could be fun if you're trying to. I mean, perception checks. If you put bees on someone and then like ran away or like we're trying to like steal something, I think that could be fun. Trying to perceive you, trying to steal or whatever it may be. I think it's a good spell. I like this spell. If I had to rate it out of 10, um, 10 doubloons out of 0, I would say it's like a 7 or 8 doubloon scaling range. So that's pretty cool. All right. So the next spell is a first level spell. Only bards could pick it up, so it's an enchantment spell. This is from the May drop. It's called Insidious Rhythm. Its action has 120 feet, verbal and Semitic components. It's concentration, and it's up for a minute. I'm going to read it here. One creature of your choice that you can see within range hears a haunting yelp catching tune that constantly repeats in their mind. The target must succeed a wisdom saving throw, or it has disadvantage on intelligent checks and on Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration. At the end of each of its turns, the target can repeat the saving throw, ending the spell on its success. Using this at higher levels, you can target one additional target for each spell slot above first. Okay, so pretty cool. You're a bard, right? Maybe you see a other target holding concentration of some type. I'm assuming that could be helpful. Again, 120 feet, 60 feet away. There's no range of like the Buzzy Beast spell. And they have, you got to think, disadvantage on, it doesn't say intelligence saving throws, but intelligent checks. So what kind of skills do you really like think that opponent is gonna have with this? I guess this could be good if I don't know. I mean, let's see. There's Arcana. There's Investigation. I mean, this is like a spell that's really good at, I would say, messing up obviously the train of thought of a creature or a target. But I think roleplay wise, this could be good. But I mean, I feel like if you have that in if an NPC has that in their mind, they're gonna be like, oh wait, there's something going on here. Someone's doing this to me, perhaps. In battle, I think you could use it again like the Buzzy Bees spell, but in general, I think it's okay. It's fine. I think at first level, it's a good first level spell if you're trying to debuff someone. Again in combat, I don't think that the disadvantage in intelligent checks is gonna do too much. I could be wrong. There might be a scenario where it is. I think out of combat could be cool for roleplay reasons. And then the concentration with disadvantage is always delightful. Why not? 2 spells that gives a target disadvantage on their concentration. It's pretty cool. I don't think there's a lot of spells that do that, and could be beneficial in a couple of scenarios, I'm assuming. But I think I'm gonna give this spell probably a lower rating than the Buzzy Bees. I like the Buzzy Bees like flavor more. I think for bards, having like a diva spell like this is pretty good, and it's only for bards. The other spell was only for like 4 other classes, or 3 other classes besides like druid and stuff. So Insidious Rhythm for me, I think it's pretty mid, so I'm gonna put it at like a 5 or a 6 doubloon rating. It's fine. It's a first level spell. You might pick it up, maybe not. I personally wouldn't pick it up. There's a lot of good other first level spells, and I don't think they would replace this, but it could be fun. It could be cool. All right. So we have another spell here. It is a second level spell, and it's from the June drop um, of this year, and it is for cleric and paladins, and it's called Searing Orb. It it takes an action. It is a 60 foot. There's a 60 foot range. It has S&M components. It says metallic flakes and a pinch of frost. I don't think I'm saying that right, but the duration is instantaneous. You create and hurl a pulsing orb of energy at one target within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 3d4 radiant. Hit or miss, the orb then explodes in a flash of light. The target and each of the creatures within 10 feet of it make a con saving throw. On a failed save, the creature has the blind condition until the end of its next turn. The damage increases by 1d4 for each spell slot above it. So, um, this is a flashbang. So this is a radiant flashbang. I love this. I think it's super cool. For a second level spell slot for clerics and paladins, that's really cool. So I have a druid here. It's my turn, right? So you make a spell attack. Again, it can be 60 feet, so this is about 50 feet here. A spell attack. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna roll a little silly dice here just to see what I get. Let's just say I have a +5. So that probably hits any kind of AC that the druid has. Would be like a 24, right? So he would roll the damage. I would roll again. It is 3d4 worth of radiant damage. I rolled 40. Let's just say I upcasted it, right? That's a good amount of damage. That is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 points of damage, and the druid makes a con save. So it makes a con save, but everything that's in a 10-foot radius of this creature also makes a con save here. Oh, here it is. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer. So 10-foot radius, so anything that is in that 10-foot area is going to make a con save too. And if they fail, so if a target on each of it makes a con save throw, on a failed save, the target is blinded. Yeah, so anything that the target and the people around it are going to be blinded. I think this spell is awesome. I think it's really cool having another spell, especially for cleric at level 2, and then paladin. I think it's going to be pretty cool too for paladin to land more attacks, so you're able to get that divine smite off and everything. And also making creatures blinded. I mean, for your whole party is awesome. So I like the spell a lot. I think it's second level. I think the damage and the blinding effect that it causes matches really well. I like the range of it. The radius of 10 feet. I think it's perfect. I like this spell. I'm gonna rate it like a 9.5 doubloons out of 10. I think that's good. I think that's a good rating. I don't know. I like the spell. All right, so for our next spell, it's a second level aberration spell, and it's for Artificers, Druid, and Ranger. This is in the June drop as well. It's an action. It is a touch. It's a V and S for the components, and it's concentration up for 1 minute. You touch a willing creature. Until the spell ends, the target's skin hardens into a tortoiseshell, and the target gains a +3 bonus in AC. If the target moves, the bonus becomes a +1 instead until the start of its next turn. All right. So I think this is pretty clear. The spell's really short. A verbal and Semitic, you know, uh, components is fine. But yeah, being able to just kind of touch, yourself or pause or touch the like this bard here, right? So the bard, let's just say the bard has 14 AC, obviously, or not obviously, but 14 AC, right? So the bard has 14 AC. The druid can come up, touch the bard, right? Let's say they move 10 feet away or 10 feet to the bard. Touch the bard, use an action for the spell, hold concentration, and now the Bard is going to have 17 AC, right? 17 AC. The Druid obviously can just go ahead and run away if they want to. Let's just say they probably had 30 feet of movement. Let's say 20 feet away. Now the Bard is pretty hefty, but right, if they move on their turn, they that +3 AC is going to become 1 until the next turn. So let's play this out a little bit more. So let's just say it's Druid's turn. He they go ahead and give this to the Bard, right? Runs away, all that. Let's just say it's the Bard's turn. Let's just say the Bard wants to run in and fight the Cleric. Why not? So by doing this, by the Bard running away, their AC is no longer 17. It is now 15 because of the spell's second thing. If the target moves, the bonus becomes a 1 until the start of its next turn. So I moved. That means I only benefit from having the 1 AC instead of the 3 until my next turn. Cleric's turn, guess what? They attack the Bard. Druid's turn, it's holding concentration. Let's say the Druid throws a spell at it like Whip or Vine Whip or some type of other spell that can throw. Let's say it's the Bard's turn again. So the Bard, the Bard didn't move. The spell's still on. So so instead of 14 AC, they're gonna have 17 AC, right? Because they didn't move, they will keep the +3 AC. I love this spell. I think it's a good spell. It is a second level spell, so I don't think it's too crazy. And it says it adds. It's a bonus to AC. Okay, this is something you can add on to anyone. Just whatever, pretty much like that they have. Any bonuses they have, you can just give it to them. So let's just say the Bard had I don't know what Bards wouldn't really have anything like too crazy with AC, but I could think of like if someone has Shield of Faith on them, that gives them what, a +2 AC. So there's that, and then you can put a +3 on them, right? And then if they cast like whatever they want to cast on themselves, or sorry, I guess that's Shield of Faith. But what I'm saying is this is a bonus. This is a real good bonus. I think a +3 AC is pretty good. A lot of 5.5 monsters have really high to hit. So I think this is a really good bonus just to have. I mean, why not? If you are not having any concentration spells, which I'm going to be honest, Druid has a lot of concentration spells now, and before they even did. I think it's just good just to have it on you. I mean, even to have it on yourself, it's good. You can have it on yourself, and then when you become Wild Shape, have a +3 in AC, which is good. If you're playing Moon Druid, and your AC for your beast is based on your, what is it, it's like Wisdom plus a set number, maybe 10 or 12, whatever it is, and then you have this on top. I mean, you can be a real big tank. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I like the roleplay side of it. I like how it works mechanically. I think it's a simple spell. I'm gonna give this one 8 to 9 doubloons. I like it. I like the flashbang more, but tortoise shell, that's what the spell's called. Hopefully I said the name at the beginning, but it's called turtle shell. Tortoise shell. I like it. Good spell. Alright, so we have a third level spell. This is for bards, clerics, sorcerers, and wizards. It is called Astral Flood. Pretty cool. It costs an action. The range is self. It has VSM components. It's a mixture of water and powdered silver. So that's fun. And it's instantaneous. So I'm going to have the wizard do it here, just to have it, but I'm going to read it off to you guys. You channel energy from the astral sea and unleash a torrent of magic from you in a 30-foot cone. Each creature within the cone must succeed a dexterity saving throw or take 4d10 cold damage or radiant damage. Choose when you cast the spell. You choose the damage type depends on an additional effect. So you get to pick right off rip. Either it's cold or radiant damage. Awesome. Cool. Right? 4d10 worth of damage, pretty good. Third level spell slot. The additional, so if you pick cold, the target has disadvantage on the next d20 test it makes before the end of its next turn. This is really cool. I'll get to that. And then this, if you do radiant damage, the target can only see within 15 feet of itself. If it has the and it has the blinded condition for everything beyond the distance until the end of its next turn. So the spell's pretty good, right? So let's just say you're the wizard right here, right? And let's just say, I mean, you got a 30-foot cone, use the spell. So let's see the range on that. So it's on self, right? So there's 30 feet right there. So 30 feet is not as big as I kind of thought it was, but this map is pretty big too. But this is what you kind of expect when there's a lot of people around. But you can see that you can hit a couple of good people with this. Well, actually, again, it's from self, but there we go. See, it would technically hit those people. Honestly, it would hit all three of them if you really want to count the bard, the corner bard, the druid, and the cleric. Anyways, so they all would make a dex save. They would take cold or radiant, and having the option to have the additional effects is really cool. So let's just say you hit. Let's just say they all three fail, right? And it's not their turn. They're all the enemies. And let's just say your teammate is on the sideline here, right? And it's their turn next. So it says if you use cold damage, the target has disadvantage on the next D20 test, right? D20 test. So if this warlock casted, I don't know, let's just say hold person or an other spell that has a saving throw, they would have disadvantage on it. That's pretty good. That is a really good lineup spell, to help other people. The radiant damage one is good. Being able to only see 15 feet away from themselves, right? So if we had the circle here and 15 feet, they'd barely be able to see you. And then out of the range of 15 feet, they're blinded, right? So they wouldn't even see their cleric. They wouldn't see maybe would see their druid. I like this spell. I like this spell a lot. I like the flavoring. I like the text. The damage is good. There's other third level spells that do a good amount of damage as well, and have better ranges. 30 feet cone is pretty small. When you have fireball, that's like 150 feet now, and 20 feet, it does decent damage. It's fireball, right? It's fireball. It's old reliable, right? So having the additional effects on this, it makes the spell really strong. I think this spell is really good. I like flavor wise. I like that you're able to pick the damage types. So I'm gonna rate this. I like the turtle shell more, and I do like Buzzy Bees more. Doesn't mean it's bad or anything. It's just my personal opinion if I like the spell or not. So don't take it me giving it a low score bad or anything. But I'm gonna give it like a like an 8 or 9 doubloon rating out of 10. I think it's a good spell. Again, Bard, Cleric, and Sorcerer and Wizard can get that. That's really cool for those classes. Bard can use that. Sorcerer could probably use something like that. And I mean, Wizard already has enough spells, but I'm just kidding. I mean, it's always fun to have more spells in your class. So cool spell, cool spell. All right, you're gonna have to give me a second to explain this spell a little bit. So this spell, it's a 4th level spell. All right. It can clerics, druid, and rangers can cast this spell. So all classes that could use an extra spell, why not? This is in the May drop, and the name of the spell is called Sticks to Snakes. And with just the name itself, you can assume what it does. It's an action. It has a range of 90 feet. The 90 feet is actually pretty important. So let's just say I'm the druid, right? You are 90 feet is quite large. That covers this whole map, pretty much, right? Yeah, pretty much this whole map. Um, so it has VSM, a small piece of bark, and several snake scales. Okay, it's concentration. It's up for a minute. And I'm gonna read you guys this. It's very long, so keep it on. I might fast forward this part, but just listen. Trust me, it is a interesting spell. You choose up to 4 non-magical sticks, no longer than a quarterstaff or similar piece of non-magical wood, such as a torch, a spear, etc., that you can see within range to shape shift into a snake. Creatures that are holding a target object can make a charisma saving throw, preventing the target from shapeshifting on a success. Each shape-shifted target uses the venomous snake stat block. So you get to pick 4 objects that are quarterstaff or smaller, and turn them into snakes, right? So these are, and if someone is holding said quarterstaff or a stick, or maybe even if your DM is a maniac, maybe a large bow, like it's pretty, long. It doesn't say that, so let that be. But right, you choose up to 4 non-magical sticks, quote unquote. They have quarterstaff, staffs, and tiers. If someone's holding something, they can make a charisma saving throw, and if they succeed, their thing doesn't turn into a snake. But it'd be kind of funny having an enemy holding something like a spear or something, and then it just turns into a snake. I love that. I think that's awesome, right? Okay, so that's the first little chunk of it. Each of these snakes are friendly to you and your allies. In combat, they share your initiative count, and takes their turn immediately after yours. Okay, so it's gonna be. I think this is one of those spells where it's gonna be really kind of long and annoying to go through initiative wise, right? Having 4 snakes, are you always gonna make 4 snakes? Maybe you make 2, maybe you make a 1. I think if you make 1, you're kind of losing out, but I mean, there's that. The venomous snake stat block is not too crazy. But it does give the poison effect as poison damage. So there's that, right? Okay, let's keep on going. Until the spell ends, you can take a bonus action to mentally command the creatures you made with the creatures within 500 feet of you. If you choose to if you control multiple creatures, you can command any of them at the same time, issuing the same command to each one. If you issue no command, the creature takes the dodge action and moves only to avoid harm. When the creature drops to 0 HP points, it reveals it reverts to the object's form, and any remaining damage carries over from that form. Using the spell slot at higher levels increases it by 2 for additional objects for each spell slot above 4th level. So, right, here's a scenario. You're in a forest. You're in a swamp. You're in a boatyard. There's no limit of sticks, right? There's sticks everywhere. You can carry sticks. You can carry sticks, throw them on the ground. The enemies are like, "What's going on?" And you just, boom, they're snakes now. Said Emma. All right, so let's get down to the brass task. I think it's interesting that what you can do with this, right, is that out of combat, you can have 4 sticks, turn them into snakes, and then command them from 500 feet of you. Again, it does only last a minute, right? But you can make them do certain things, and when you do, they all have to do the same thing, right? So you mentally command. It doesn't say you can see through them or anything, so you can't really use this for recon, right? But you could, put these through traps. You can send them through a dungeon, just kind of slithering around, and maybe they activate some traps around. But I think it's nice to have that if you wanted that. Being able to just turn sticks into snakes and kind of mess around with the enemy. And again, this takes a bonus action. You take a bonus action to mentally command the snakes that you made with the spell. So you still have your whole action to do stuff. If you have any instant spells that have an action, that is nice. I mean, that is really good. You can have snakes. On your next turn, you can use your bonus action to turn into a giant snake. I think the spell I love the spell. I like the roleplay mechanics of it. I like that you can turn people's weapons into snakes, and they turn into venomous snakes, right? This is not normal constructor snakes or whatever, not constructor snakes, not building snakes, but venomous snakes. That's cool. I love this. I love this spell so much. This is like a 9.5 to 10 for me. 4th level spell. I think it's silly enough to get into some chaos and good enough to have certain things done where you can have some fun and it work out really well. So mechanically, I think it's good. Then again, I think it does draw back from having like a long initiative if it does take a long time to like if you make like let's just say you're casting this at like 6th level and for some reason you have 8 snakes. Initiative might be a little cooked. If you're doing this out of roleplay, I think it's good. Or in roleplay, my bad. I think it's fun. Oh yeah. I would say I'm not sure. I think I need to read the rules of a ritual casting because I'm pretty sure you can ritual cast this. If not, you should be able to. Ritually casting this would be fun in a town or whatever it may be, and just having these snakes for a whole minute um, could be super super nice. And then there's probably some stuff that you can increase the time um, to as well. I'm not sure if there's something that sorcerer can do that. Maybe you put some points into the sorcerer. Don't quote me on that. I'm just talking out of my ass. But I love this spell. 8 point. I think I just changed the rating, but 8.5 to 9, not a 10. But it's good. It's good. I like this spell. I like this spell. So this spell has a long name, and I'm not gonna try to say the whole name because I'm illiterate. And yeah, so this is Leomund's lame layman table bedormant. All right, I'll put it on the screen. It probably is. I know I got the first two right, but it's a 6th level spell, right? Bards, sorcerers, and wizards can have this. Oh wait, here, let me clean this up real fast. Okay, we're back. But sorry, bards, sorcerers, wizards can have this. It's a 6th level enchantment spell, and you basically can use an action. The range is 30 feet. The component is V, so verbal, and the duration is 1 minute. And here is what this is. This one's like kind of a lengthy one as well, but it's totally worth it. You proclaim an insightful or inflammatory statement, such as a claim about politics, policies of a nearby town. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose. So again, if we have the measuring tool here, right? So if we point you choose in a 13-foot radius around you, right? So 30-foot radius around you, 30 feet. Let's just say there's a couple people around you, right? And within that 30-foot radius, you can make a 10-foot sphere, right? So let's just say you make it a 10-foot sphere here, and you get these two people, right? So both these two people got to make a intelligence saving throw. If they fail, they will become have the charmed condition until the spell ends. So last the whole minute. Any creature that doesn't share a language with you or has an intelligence score of lower than 3 automatically succeed the saving throw. While charmed, the target must spend its turn discussing and arguing or arguing for or against the statement that you made. For the duration, every target's speed is set to 0, has the blinded and deafened condition with respect to everyone except you and all other targets affected by this spell. For the duration, the target has... Okay, sounds good. Okay, so ends its turn if the target repeats the saving throw, ending the spell on a success. So crazy thing is, this is not a concentration spell. You say something, right? Let's just say, I don't like that on Wednesdays you have to go into your home at 8 o'clock sharp, right? So you say that. You say a statement or policy of something in this town or other town, right? You say that. All the creatures within the 10-foot radius, again, or sorry, within a 30-foot radius, you get to pick a 10-foot sphere. So let's just say these three. So yourself, the bard, and a druid. All, right, make a saving throw. You could choose to fail it sometimes, right? And they are charmed if they fail the saving throw. If when they are charmed, the target must spend its turn discussing and arguing for or against the statement. So they will have to sit here and argue for a whole minute about if at 8 o'clock going into your house is a good idea, right? For the duration of the target. For the duration, the target has a speed of 0 and has a blinded and deafened conditions with respect to everyone except you. Other targets affected, and if other targets affected by this. So let's just say, right, you three are affected by the spell, right? All three of you can hear each other and see each other. These two, you won't be able to see them or hear them. So you guys are trapped in your own little social bubble. I love this spell. I love this spell. I think this is so freaking cool and so awesome. I love this spell. I'm giving this a 9.5 doubloons out of 10. I think this. If I'm saying the spell right and how it works, it's awesome. I love this spell so freaking much. I think it's goofy. I think this is just a roleplay spell. I mean, I guess you could use this in PvP, and I think it could be goofy. There's nothing I would have made it so if you took any damage that you would probably get kicked out of the spell, kind of like how sleep works. Um, but they do get to make a saving throw at the end of each of the turns, so I guess it's not horrible. But being blinded and deafened is really, it's pretty scary. But I love this. I love this spell. Yeah, 9.5. This spell is 7th level. Either a warlock or a wizard could pick it up, and this is from the June drop. It's again 7th level spell. It is called Void Star. It takes an action. It has VMS, a fragment of a meteor is the material component, and it's instantaneous, and it reaches 120 feet. So 120 feet is pretty far. I think back here, from here. Oh, I didn't mean to have that open there. 120 feet. Right, this is still pretty far. You could reach all the way over here. You could snipe people with this, right? Let me read this out. You conjure forth a fragment of a dark star and launch it into one creature that you can see within range. Make a range spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 6d12 of necrotic damage, and at the end of the target's turn, it takes 3d12 more necrotic damage, and you regain hit points equal to the amount of necrotic damage dealt. Using this at higher level spell slots, damage of both later and initial damage are increased by 2d12 for each spell slot above 7. So, the amount of healing you get is only from the 3d12. All right. But technically, right, this whole spell is doing 90-12 points of necrotic damage, right? And the 3d12 of necrotic damage is only happening to the target when it is at the end of the target's next turn. It takes the 3d12, right? So they have time to heal and stuff and take that damage, which is kind of like a I wouldn't say like a burst damage, but it is like, man, even if I heal all this health, I'm still gonna take the 6d12 worth of damage, right? So spell attack, I'll just roll for fun. I don't think I'm gonna get anything large. Let's just say at this level the warlock has a plus like 9, right? So that would be a 15. Probably would miss the cleric if they have good armor and they're around the same level. But let's just say they hit. So 6d12 of necrotic, right? That's a lot of damage. Just rolling it here, and then pulling this up. I rolled pretty decently. 46 points of necrotic damage would happen to the cleric, right, on your turn as an action, as a 7th level spell. The cleric, right, will go on to its turn, do its cleric things. Let's just say they heal the 46 points of damage, right? And when they end their turn, they're going to take the 3d12 points of necrotic damage, which I rolled really bad there. So I would heal, or the warlock, would heal 10 points of health from the 3d12 of necrotic damage that happened at the end of the target's next turn. I think the spell's pretty good. It is pretty high. I think if you upcast it, it's going to get pretty beneficial, especially with those extra d12s occurring to the healing. The amount of damage that it does is pretty strong. 6d12, you would have to look at other 7th level spells, but I know there's some pretty cracked 7th level spells, level 7 spells, my bad. I do like it. I like the flavor of it. I think it's pretty unique. I think being able to have a spell that does damage and heals like a fraction of it is good. I mean, technically it could heal half the amount of damage that you've dealt with the necrotic damage of 6d12 and then 3d12, and then being able to upcast it to increase the healing and the damage of it is really good. Void Star. That's what that's called. I like it. Um, I think I would get that a Void Star like a 8.5. All these spells are pretty good. I think the lowest spell in this whole list that the lowest, sorry, poor thing I gave, rating I gave was I think Sticks to Snakes. I think, or no, it's Assidious Rhythm. I think, um, that I gave the lowest rating to. But all those spells are within the drop system. I think they're pretty interesting. I think they're pretty strong. Most of them are. I think are pretty strong. I think I want to review some of the spells in some of the other books. But if you don't like my rating, if you have anything to say about these spells, if you want to talk within the comments, maybe I'll make another video thinking about the spells, or after you saw them, maybe I made a mistake reading them and actually spells weaker or stronger, but I would like to hear what you have to say below. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming down, messing with my quality of my mic and quality of this video, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you like any of this or want to see the future drop videos I'm going to be making for the magic items, the feats, and the monsters, please subscribe. It's going to be real cool. It's going to be like this a lot, maybe a little bit more fast paced, maybe a little slower pace, whatever you guys want. But I appreciate you. You have a wonderful day, and remember, you are loved. Have a good one. Bye bye.